I have not felt connected to this project in a while, like since I started it.
That really sums it up. I took a few weeks to reflect on my process, and I realized that I hated it. Thought it was caca. Caca and wee whiz, my friend. There were way too many moving pieces, so I decided to simplify. This is that process.
I'm Kintia.
Hi, I'm Kintia. Nice to meet you. And in the few weeks that I was resting, I took a critical look at my process. More specifically, my patterns of behavior. And I realized that I was rushing through the process. The exact thing that I was trying not to do, I was doing it. Why? Why was I rushing through things? The culprit is college conditioning.
So because I went to Full Sail, they have the atmosphere of get the project done as soon as possible because the deadlines were very tight. So every week you had to have something done, regardless of if you liked it or not. I found myself applying that same mindset to how I approach this project now.
In short, I was working with an outdated mindset, and it was disconnecting me from the process. Also, the process itself was just tedious. I had to do a bunch of sketching and formatting on one paper, and then I had to take that sketching and formatting and put it on another piece of paper, and then I had to keep doing it over and over, and it just became too much. This is how I simplified it for myself.
New plan is to create all of the pages, prep the page, and then kind of number it, so then when it comes time to actually make it a comic book, it'll fold very easily and I won't have to do as much work as I was.
I ditched the notebook in tiny rectangles for an actual sketchbook. While I was looking for new approaches, I remembered a clown story that I drew out for a class that I had when I was back in college. I could actually show you what it looked like. I'm gonna try an editing trick. You ready? Here it is. See, my new approach was inspired by this assignment right here. For our assignment, we had to choose a children's story and we had to adapt it to a younger audience. Each panel is a page, so I decided to take this direction. I decided to take this method and apply it to my own comic book. But things still didn't feel complete. Little did I know, the information that I was looking for was found in a iceberg video about dolls.
I was watching this doll video with my roommate, and one of the doll brands had a comic that came along with it. But when I saw the comic, it looked nothing like any comic I'd seen before. And I really liked the way that that comic presented itself, because it was a lot more free-flowing. And I also want to, really sit with everything that I'm trying to create and to ensure that I'm genuinely happy with it. It's all about reintroducing myself to a slower pace since graduating from a school that has a rigorous course like Full Sail.
With the slower pace, I was able to more accurately express what I wanted to create. This is what I came up with.
I want to make this comic like a zine, because this comic is going to be pretty cheap, because it's not going to be like made of super expensive materials. And the way that I see it, these are pages, and you can see I already started with some of the questions, some of the numbers, but I erased it because I realized I fucked up. The hardest part would be deciphering exactly how many pages I'd like to put in the story, because I also ended up editing the story. I have a new ending for this comic because the first ending didn't really make sense, so my brain kind of needed to steep on that a little bit more. But now that I have an ending, it's an ending that will transition well within the next comic I plan on making, so yay! It's like square one, but this time we're happy about it. and we're remembering and awakening to what it is that we actually love to do. So
the next day, I spent most of my time watching YouTube videos that explained zine page layouts. The day after that, I had a better understanding of where I went wrong in the first place.
When I first started, I felt like I needed to have every page planned out before I started working on anything. So in this process, I'm going to take it a day at a time, a page at a time. I'm going to plan out page 1, and I'm going to draw out page 1. The zine video I watched yesterday provided a very helpful way of dictating what pages go with what pages so that I can make this like a really cheap zine comic.
But within minutes of implementing this new process, I already had the results that I wanted. I made thumbnails for the comic, and the layout was ready to be drawn by the end of the day. However, drawing the comic panels turned out to be just as difficult as I thought it would be. It took me forever to get the comic panel layout down. I just kept drawing and erasing and drawing and erasing, and trying to get the measurements together was like impossible because once again, I'm not good with numbers, and you would think a ruler would be really straightforward, but my brain has a wonderful ability to make things much harder than they need to be. But you know what they say, an honest struggle rewards you with honest rewards, because look at how it turned out. I'm so proud of how the first page is progressing. I'm not done with it, of course, because compositions are hard, but I will persevere. I am so much more relieved with this process. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to follow along with, and it's just one thing at a time. Well, I can handle one thing at a time, I'll survive. And that's all I have for you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I always have so much fun when I hang out with you, and I hope that this process helps you feel a little bit better about how you're progressing in your own journey. If you're making your own comic, or if you're making just a bunch of art pieces in general, embracing the process is probably the hardest thing I'm learning about creating this, and I'm just glad that we're here together to share this process. If you like this time we spend together, if you like hearing about the process of me making Roach Girl, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like because it really helps me, and hit that post notification bell so you're alerted every time I post. Once again, I had so much fun hanging out with you today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later.
I'm distracted.